All right, y'all, welcome back and happy Friday. Today, we're going to be talking about our weekend visitors versus ETSU. We'll talk some about the 2027 class and also want to focus on Georgia's tight ends versus our defense, especially in the passing game. How they had so much success and what can Tennessee do to find more success versus them coming up in a week. Y'all, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And I gave y'all some time to look over this whole list. These are the guys that we are expecting to make it up. You can see that there's two players that are currently committed to our Tennessee Volunteers in the 2026 class. And there's a lot of guys from 2027. There's one guy from 2028. And the one from 2028, he's like the number 16 player in the 2028 class. Wide receiver, 6'3", looks really good. So he's a blue chip player for sure. And we also have one guy from the 2026 class that's coming up that is not committed. And let's talk about him. So his name is Marshall Smith. He's an in-state player, 6'5", 245. He can play tight end. He can play, I think, anywhere on Tennessee's defensive line. So whether that's Leo, strong side end, or defensive tackle, I think he could do them all at a pretty high level. So three-star player currently committed to Memphis. He has some SEC offers. I'm not sure if Tennessee's offered him just yet, but I, briefly watched some of his film, and I think that he is a good player. So I want to say that this might be from this season. This is him playing at tight end. You can see him blocking, looks good there. He has very long arms. I think that he's really strong, shows good quickness and all of that. But once we get to him playing on defense, man, there's a lot that I love. Okay, I think that his stock is probably going to rise over the course of this year. He's a guy, and we talked about this yesterday, right? With some of the players maybe leaving this class or whatever, will have some more room, will have some more money. He's a guy that I would love to go out and get, because I think that it's definitely a need for us in this class. Whatever he's going to be playing. So we'll see what ends up happening coming out this weekend. Will Tennessee end up offering him? I think that it's pretty possible, at some point over the course of the year, if he hasn't already got the offer, I think that that's coming. So jumping back to this, like I said, there's players from 2027, 2028, and just like a plethora of different things. So we won't talk too much about 2027 just yet. Probably start that a little bit more next week. But I just wanted for y'all just to see who's coming up. Obviously, next week's visit list is going to be really, really good. So this is what I'm seeing just as far as the needs for the 2027 class. It's just my point of view. The coaching staff might view this totally differently. But I would say that the number one need for us in this class is going to be defensive tackle. We need to catch up there. Coach Gardner wants to rotate 6 to 7 guys every game. So that means that you need to have 8 to 9, maybe even 10 guys that you trust every year. I'm not sure that Tennessee has quite that depth this season. We got to play catch up. We got to bring in 2 to 3 real dudes, okay, in the 2027 class. Number 2 for me is going to be Leo. Obviously, man, we keep on putting players pro. Same thing's going to happen this year. We already know that Joshua Joseph should be going pro. Caleb Herring could also go pro. But if he doesn't go this year, he's definitely going next year. And then we also have Jordan Ross, who should be going next year as well. So we have to just keep on adding bodies to that room. Wide receiver, we already know we got to keep on playing catch up there too. You want to have 10 to 12 scholarship players that are dudes, okay? That's what most SEC programs have. Well, I'm not going to say most have all dudes, but the top tier, that's what they have. Tennessee was kind of at that point, but now we got to catch up and get back to it. So still playing catch up there. Safety, same thing, 2 to 3 guys. Guards where it starts to kind of even out at. You say, all right, man, look, let's take in 1, maybe 2 guards that we really like, that we like the absolute most. Same thing at offensive tackle. Tight end, Tennessee will definitely need at least 1 tight end in the 2027 class, but maybe 2 just to be safe. Linebacker, you take your 1 to 2 guys that you really love. The linebacker room is starting to get really deep. Running back, we'll definitely need 1. And then quarterback, I think we need 1 for sure. Probably going to need 1 in every class moving forward, just because we don't want to be in the situation that we're in right now, where we're going to have to go to the transfer portal, try to find a veteran that's going to be okay being a backup, and we're going to have to overpay for him. It's a big mess. So you want to try to find the guys, I think, coming out of high school and kind of like grow them inside of your own program. But that's going to do it for this portion of it, y'all. Let's go ahead and talk about the tight ends versus our Tennessee Volunteers. And we're going to go back to last year's game versus Georgia. We're going to split things up with Tennessee secondary, or, the plays that was probably on the secondary's fault versus what was on our linebackers' fault. Now, on every play, anything that's yellow is going to be Tennessee's secondary. Anything that's blue is going to be Tennessee's linebackers. I want to make sure that I point this out. Georgia's offense is pretty basic. It's pretty simple. They don't really set things up that well, but they set it up very well for their tight ends. Like, that's the only unit on the whole offense that they really set things up for well. So that's why they have so many wrinkles. And, that's why the tight ends, I think, have really good games versus Tennessee. Now, we shut down most of what they like to do, especially last year, but they hit on a few plays. So we'll look at every single pass that they caught versus us last season. So this is just cover one. It means we have one safety playing high, and it's man everywhere else. Y'all can see that Georgia's in 12 personnel. It's a really tight set. They're backed up close to their own end zone. Typically, you're going to be running out of this. And I have the tight end highlighted in red because he's who you need to watch on this play. He starts off on one side. So I think that it would have been Jalen Smith that's man up on him at this point. And Tennessee is running a 3-4, maybe 4-3 on this play. So we're matching big on big. But he's going to come across here, okay, to this left side. And it's looking like he's going to be blocking on a run play, but he's actually going to be going out for a pass. So two things could happen in a situation like this. Jalen Smith could have still been playing man on him, which I don't think, just given what I'm looking at here. I think that this probably would have bumped over to Will Brooks. I think that that's his guy, and he just doesn't pick him up because he thinks that this is a run. You'll actually see that Will Brooks tries to tackle the running back on this, so he gets totally lost. That's the number one thing, y'all, is that we have to know what we're doing because Georgia does so much pre-snap movement, it'll throw you off at the last second. You got to be on point from that standpoint. So now, on this next play, what we're going to see is it's man, okay, on the bottom side here. So cornerback and safety both playing man. Georgia does this a lot where they, show, hey, this is a wide receiver quick screen. And on the wide receiver quick screen, the inside guy, that the tight end, he should be blocking here, but that's not what the play actually is. It just looks like it. So in this situation, Will Brooks has got to bite up so that he can help make this tackle because the cornerback is getting blocked. But what actually happens is the tight end runs this, kind of like wheel or rail route, okay? So all you have to do in this situation, I mean, obviously, you have to be disciplined. You have to do your job first. But I'm sure that Coach Banks has something kind of drawn up in how we can slow this down. If he's showing that he's blocking, maybe the safety just comes on over and holds on to him, right? Like hold on to that guy so that he can't get up the field and make it seem like, hey, I'm just trying to hold on to him so I can come up and make this tackle. I'm just trying to get into my run fit. A little bit of cheating, but, you have to have some types of gamesmanship. But that's the whole point, y'all. They're not really beating us because they're better athletes. They're just beating us because of the scheme for their tight ends. All right, so this is the next one. And, of course, y'all can see the down distance quarter and all that from the scoreboard copy. So on this play, we're going to have cover three. Y'all can see what cover three looks like. Y'all can see where maybe like the holes are at, but I'll actually point that out to you here in just a second. So, boom, this is where the hole is at. This is where one of the holes is at just based off of the route combinations, right? And we've got the guy that's in blue, that's Arion Carter, obviously playing at linebacker. And then we've got Will Brooks. He's in yellow on the side of that blue square. Then up top, we have, I think that's Colby Thomas playing at safety. So Colby Thomas's job is he's supposed to be playing a deep third in the middle of the field. He's already starting to kind of cheat over to the cornerback side here, which he doesn't really need to do. The cornerback's already playing deep. He's going to, if that outside wide receiver runs a post, he's going to be beat to the inside. That would have been 6 points. But what actually happens here is all these players should have been somehow, some way moving more towards the hole there. So if it's Arion Carter, maybe he could have carried this tight end further up the field and then passed him off. If you're looking at Will Brooks, he's covering grass. We always talk about it. Don't just cover grass. He needs to be looking, hey, where are the actual threats at? Let me get there right now. We just didn't do it well on this play. A little bit too late, so a guy's wide open. Also understand something, y'all. On these plays that are going way down the field, the pass rush took forever to get there. I want us to blitz more versus Georgia. We can't give them this much time down the field. And if we're not going to blitz, then it needs to be, people need to not be covering grass. That's the biggest thing. You have to tighten up that zone coverage. So next play, pre-snap movement. Y'all see that that'll change the picture some. It changes the coverage some. And here, okay, this is actually cover 6. So it's cover 2 up top, and then down bottom, we have cover 4. And that's where everyone's playing at. All right. So all they do on this play, again, the cornerback, he's playing a deep quarter of the field. He's playing deep. They just run a hitch. That's just there. You know what I'm saying? That's just there, straight up. Not much that you can do about that. He comes up and makes a good tackle. So that's the only play versus the tight ends that the cornerbacks gave up last year. Now let's talk about linebackers. Actually, some of these plays could maybe be on the secondary too, especially on this first one. So this is cover 6, y'all. I do not really care for cover 6. There's just too many holes in it. It's really tough. I guess you kind of run that when maybe you don't know what else to run. I'm sure the Coach Banks has his reasons. I don't even mean to say it like that. I'm sure that he has his own reasons for when he wants to run it. So on this play, right, we see that there's a post from the tight end, and then there's a just go vertical route from the outside wide receiver. So that's going to push Ricky Gibson off. It's also going to kind of, and it really shouldn't, but it's going to kind of push Will Brooks off, who's playing at safety. Really, this is Will Brooks' guy. He should have been on top of this. And Arion Carter, I think, does a good job of carrying this all the way down the field. Now, the Buckeyes ran this exact same play, I think, versus this exact same coverage versus us in the playoff game. We played it much better. Arion Carter actually tipped that pass, and then Will Brooks got the interception. So talk about understanding how to beat this moving forward. And I mean, that's a pretty tight window. Can Gunnar Stockton fit the football into this window? Probably. I think he has a talent to be able to do it. Will he make the throw? I think that he will. We just got to do what we're supposed to do. This actually might have been more on Will Brooks playing at safety than it was on Arion Carter. He also gets kind of pushed off on. They're not going to call that. All right. You just have to anticipate, hey, they're just not going to call that. So just have to play tight coverage. Just do your job. As long as we do that, I think that Tennessee will be fine. And also, y'all, we're only going through the plays that they called. If we went through all the plays that they didn't catch, it would have been a very long video. Okay. So here we can see that this is a like goal line situation. And we have man is what it looks like to me everywhere. All right. And I have Will Brooks actually highlighted here in goal because he's the one who it looks like he should be manned up with the tight end that I have circled in red who's going to make this catch. So was this Will Brooks' guy? It to me looks like it could have been, but also next to Will Brooks, you have Arion Carter. And this tight end goes right past, he crosses Arion Carter's face. Actually, Arion Carter kind of like dodges him. Can't be doing that. Okay. You cannot be doing that. Not in this area. See, boom, you see him kind of like shrug his shoulder to dodge him. They're just biting on the run very hard. So it was on one of those two players. Who exactly was it on? I can't tell you for sure. But one of those two guys, we have got to know what we're doing. Be disciplined. Do your job first. I mean, that's very doable. Just do your job. It's not like we're getting beat because we're getting out physical. That's the main thing. So here, all right, this is cover 3. So this is cover 3. I'm only showing y'all one half because the top half, there's no real threats there. So it's not going to look like cover 3, but they're still in technically cover 3. All right, so y'all see where everybody's at. This is just about spacing. This is just a really good call. Like I said, they'll scheme it up for their tight ends. So this outside wide receiver, he's running vertical, which is pushing Ricky Gibson, who's playing a deep third, pushing him deep. And we have a running back or tight end or something that's occupying Arion Carter, who's playing in the flats. So there's a big space here on this sail route, you know what I mean, for this tight end to be able to get open. Now, you could say, hey, maybe there's some principles within Tennessee's scheme where Jeremiah Thielander, who's kind of covering that tight end, should have stuck with him all the way down the field. The tight end does a good job of kind of, giving like a little stem to the inside, then breaking hard to the outside. So this is probably more of a case where, hey, maybe this is more about talent. In some of these situations, you might want to have some people that are better out in space to cover these types of routes. If you know, hey, this is probably coming, given the down and distance, so on and so forth. I would really love to see Tennessee utilize just Arion Carter and Jordan Burns and both of the Jadens, not just them, but utilize them more in this game. I think that Jeremiah Thielander's gotten faster. He looks a lot better playing out in space. Edwin Spillman also looks pretty good there. But you really need your guys in some of these situations because Georgia will find those weaknesses. And I think that that's kind of what's happening here. But Ricky Gibson does a beautiful job playing a corner coming off of his guy, okay, covering 2 people inside of one zone. Takes away that deep threat, comes off, and then gets the underneath threat as well. Can our cornerbacks do it this year? I think that Colton Hood can do it. I know that Ty Redmond can do it because he's going to understand what's going on. He understands football on a very high level. So here we have trips. This is quarters coverage. Whenever you get trips to one side, right, you have to always watch out for 3 verts. Your rules can change in 3 verts. This means that the 3 pass catching threats are all running deep routes. They're all running verticals. It sometimes, and I would say most of the time, you need to be carrying that, right? Like this should turn into some sort of a man where I think maybe Arion Carter could have stuck with the middle guy here who's actually going to make the catch. I think that he maybe could have dropped more, stuck with him more. Now that will open up a lot of running room for the quarterback. He could open up some underneath stuff, but you would rather give up the underneath stuff, come up and make a tackle, rather than give up the stuff down the field. Again, the pass rush needs to be getting there. If the windows are kind of tight down the field and they're trying to throw it down the field, it's going to take more time. If we tighten up those windows, if we generate some pressure, this is not going to be obviously as easy of a play. So can Tennessee's front do a good job as well? But you can see here that with their 3 verts, they're spacing things out. We've got the inside guy going on a post more to the inside, the outside guy on a fade, taking things away, and then just really opening up much more space for the middle player. And I have Jeremiah Thielander, who's highlighted right here in gold, does a good job of getting a bump on that post, tries to come off, and then also get a bump and kind of carry that tight end there, but he falls down. So that leaves him wide open. Just stay on top of your feet, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you just can't fall down. That's going to happen sometimes, but it can't happen in these bigger games, especially versus Georgia. So here you're seeing some more pre-snap movement. This is cover 3. And here, I'm actually just showing you that it's just like straight up man up top. That's just giving some of the principles, some of the looks that we're getting down the distance, so on and so forth. But that part of the field is not really going to matter because we're going down here to the bottom. Now, what I'm showing y'all here with these yellow arrows is how the red arrows are impacting where our players are going. So we can see that kind of like post, it's pushing Arion Carter, playing at linebacker, pushing him back. It's also pushing back Ricky Gibson. And then with this route that's coming out to the flats from that running back, it's making our Leo here, who I think is Joshua Josephs, he has to honor it. So he pulls out, and it just opened things up for this little hook route or, hitch for this tight end. So that's just the hole inside of Tennessee's defense. But see, those are the ones that you are okay with giving up. Give up the underneath stuff, come up, make tackles. It can be frustrating, but it's a lot better than giving up 6 points and giving up big chunk plays. Now, this is cover 2 man. So we have 2 safeties playing over the top. It's man everywhere else. All right, so up top, what you're going to see is a really good man-beating route combination. So they have man beaters, they have zone beaters, and of course, I'm talking about Georgia. Man beaters, zone beaters, just like most offenses do. The outside guy is running a vertical, and then the inside guy, that tight end, he's going to run an out on Arion Carter. And Arion Carter kind of gets picked off here, and, he trips up. That's why this is open. That's not necessarily like a talent thing. It's just, hey, this is a really, yeah, you want to stay on your feet, like I said, but that's just more about really good route combinations, and that's a 3-step drop, so it's tough for the pressure to actually get there. If we're playing man, that's got to be real sticky, and then I also feel like we should try to blitz with our man. So this is cover 3. All right, cover 3, and this is just a situation where Arion Carter totally busts in his coverage. He bites on the run fake way too hard and just leaves this tight end wide open on this little seam. You know what I'm saying, or whatever on a glance, just leaves him wide open, and that's why they're there. That's pretty much all she wrote. So, like I said, man, this is not about necessarily talent. I think that our talent will get better. I think that the mental side of it also gets better. It's just about executing. It's just about, hey, it's going to be some holes in our defense, but let's make them take what we give them, right? Like, let's make them take the underneath stuff first. Take care of all the vertical things, right? If you have to carry, then carry. Now, the tricky thing this season is that Gunnar Stockton can use his legs. So what's the answer there? I'm sure the coach, Tim Banks, will have a good game plan dialed up. It might not look exactly how it looked last season. There's more than one way to skin a cat. So we'll see how that plays out. But those are my thoughts, y'all. Please share y'all's down in the comment section. Hope that y'all will be joining us tomorrow, okay? We will be going live pre-game. Not sure if we'll be able to go live for the post-game show, but we do hope that y'all be joining us for that. So please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be talking to y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching. And please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.